Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the caption, it is about a story, if I was catfished. And to be honest, I honestly think I was. So this is where it goes off. So I was a sophomore in high school, and I was that person that was really shy, had a lot of friends, but was really shy, was super nice to everyone, didn't really go out. I was that goody that really didn't do much. I was on the cheer team, and so it was pretty much like school and cheer, school and cheer. And it was just the basis of that. And I had a lot of friends, but I didn't even go out. Like the highlight of my week was football weeks, or like basketball where I would go and cheer, or football when I would go and cheer, or like even wrestling matches. Like that was my highlight of my week. And I know that sounds really pathetic, but in high school, that's what I lived for. And it was my sophomore year. I was, I want to say 16. I want to say 16. But honestly, I don't know at this point. But I want to say I was 16. So this is what happened. So for the sake of it, one of my friends, which I was so close with, one of my best friends in high school, let's call her Chelsea. Okay? So there's Chelsea. And Chelsea was friends with someone that I was not a fan of. I didn't like her whatsoever. So let's call her Josie. So Chelsea and Josie. And so Josie, I was not a fan, whatsoever. I got a bad feeling from her. She was just an overall bitch, and I was not having it. She was that person that just wanted to downgrade everyone. And I understand, if you feel bad about yourself and you want to kind of make yourself seem a little better, I understand of you trying to up yourself, but trying to put others down isn't okay. That is not okay whatsoever. You don't do that, that just makes you pathetic. I'm sorry, but I'm not having it. So Chelsea and Josie. So Chelsea I've been friends with for a long time, and her and I were inseparable. And she was the type of girl that had so many guys all over her. She wouldn't even know it, and all these guys would be like, "Oh, I like you, blah 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 blah, you're gorgeous, blah 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 blah." So it was a constant thing. And so I'm always there okay, that's fine, that's whatever. In high school, I wasn't confident whatsoever, and I'll admit that right now. In high school, I was not confident whatsoever. And I mean, now I want to say that I'm confident. I'm more confident in myself than anything. Now I don't take crap from anyone. I will stand up for myself. I will stand up for my friends. I will do anything in my power to make sure that nothing that happened to me happens to others. And I've been through a lot. I kid you not. I've been through a lot. But so has everyone else. But that isn't an excuse to do anything of this sort. So Chelsea and Josie. So they were friends. They were on the same sports team, all this stuff. And all of a sudden, I get this friend request on Facebook. And it's some dude that's friends with Chelsea. And I text Chelsea. I'm hey, what's going on? Who is this person? I've never met this person in my life. Do you know him? And Chelsea's yeah, I know him. He's really sweet. He's really cool. Him and I hang out all the time. We're cool. I was okay, fine. I'll let him follow me. I don't care. And so I was okay, sure. So then, pardon me. So then when, I accepted him, he, started messaging me right away. And I was just okay, hi. And we're gonna call him Bob. Okay? So I was talking to a Bob. And so I'm texting Chelsea, and I'm hey, he's messaging me right now. I have no idea who this is. And she's like, oh, talk to him. He's really sweet. He's really, like, nice. Like, he's a great guy. Like, okay. Like, whatever, right? Didn't think anything of it. And then, so it got to a point that, like, him and I were talking a lot. And I was just like, hey, like, I need to go to bed. Like, all right, whatever. So the next day, he starts messaging me on Facebook a lot more, asking me how I am, like, asking me about myself, all this stuff. And I continued to tell Chelsea about it because I was like, girl, like, what is going on? Like, why is he doing that? Like, all this stuff, like, what's going on? I don't understand. And here's the thing. So, like, Chelsea would tell me, like, oh, he's a great guy, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. But when I would tell her something about, like, what happened or, like, what he said or, like, how, like, the conversation went, she would already know. And it didn't make sense to me. Like, I mean, I could be like, okay, well, he talked to her about it too, like, all this stuff. But it was like, as soon as I texted her, she was just like, oh, I know, like, he told me. But it was like right that second. So it was stuff that like didn't seem off. And I mean, you can say like, oh, like Gianna, like they could talk, blah, 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 blah. But this is where I started fishing. Because a lot of this stuff did not seem right, like whatsoever. None of it seemed right. So I had a friend that went to my rival high school. And this is where Bob went to school. So I went to my friend, which let's call her Kelsey. Josie and Kelsey, yeah. So we'll call it Kelsey. So I messaged Kelsey and I was like, hey, what's going on? I was like, hey, do you know this Bob, whatever his last name is? Do you know him? And she was like, oh, he goes to my school? I was like, yeah. And she was literally like the yearbook. Like, she was the head of the yearbook. She knew everybody. Like, she knew everything. So I was like, okay, she's the person I'm going to go to. So I'm like, hey, like, is this person real? Like, I don't know. Sent her the picture, sent Kelsey the picture, sent Kelsey the first and last name. And this is what she tells me. There's nobody of that name in the yearbook, in any of the past yearbooks. There's nobody at the school named that. And there's nobody with that facial recognition on the yearbook's database. Like, nothing. So my thought process was, okay, if this person doesn't go to the school that they said that they do, isn't on any of the yearbooks, like, they could be a new student, like, all this stuff. And I was like, can you, like, check for, like, new students or anything like that? And she's like, yeah, we have the database to actually, like, go through each person that has their ID. And I was like, what about, like, the new people that have their ID? And she's like, yeah, I went through that too, for just in case for you, thinking that it's a new person. And there's nobody of that name. Nobody exists. And that's when I started to think. Because Chelsea, I wouldn't think that she would have done this to me. But Josie, I know for a fact she would have. Because she didn't like Chelsea and my friendship. And the fact that, like, I understand that, like, in high school, I didn't get guys. Like, and that's fine, honestly. I didn't have my first boyfriend until I was 19 years old. My freshman year of college. Like, it's okay. That's fine. But, like, I don't need somebody to try to set me up with someone that isn't even real. Like, I was straight up catfished. Because I found out later on that it was Chelsea and Josie. And Josie, I hate with a freaking passion. But Chelsea, I was so pissed. And to this day, she doesn't know that I know. But to this day, I knew that this person wasn't real. So I kind of just played with it. And I was like, oh, yeah, really? Like, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. So then it came to one of the nights where I thought it was like straight fishy, and Chelsea starts yelling at me at this day. So I was cheering for some basketball team, and we were like winning or whatever. And my friend had my phone and started texting Bob, and it was just like, hey, like, you should come, blah blah blah, we should definitely meet up like in person to figure out what's going on, blah blah blah. And then my friend starts messaging him, pretty much giving him the real of saying like, oh, we know you're not real, we know you don't go to Lake Arrowhead, and we know you didn't do anything of that sort, like, we know. And apparently he got pissed. So then Chelsea calls me, starts going off on me, telling me that, like, oh, he was gonna show up, he was literally outside the door, and then when you were going off, like, he left, blah blah blah. It's like, oh, really? Okay, sure. I was like, all right, really? Well, I was standing outside when he claimed to be outside the door, and there wasn't anyone. So I don't understand where that thought process comes from. And then, get this, they made Bob disappear. So, like, he didn't say anything to me. Like, literally ghosted the hell out of me. And then all of a sudden, Chelsea, like, messages me, like, a month later. And I was like, oh yeah, like, Bob ghosted me, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, like, at that time, I had to act like it hurt. So I acted like it hurt. I acted like I was heartbroken, all this stuff. And then she goes and tells me, oh, he was afraid that, like, you were going to be mad at him, so he just left. And I was like, no. I'm more mad that he didn't call me and tell me himself that he was leaving, that he was moving to New York, of all places. Okay, yeah, okay, sure. And after that, I literally typed in his name onto Google. And normally, you can find people. You cannot find one person of that name. And that was when I realized that I definitely got catfished. I knew I was catfished. Like, I knew I was being catfished. But I had my suspicions, but I didn't want to believe it. Because Chelsea was my friend. And, like, you don't do that to someone that is your friend. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, who does that? Like, they're not your friend. And I don't know if, like, she was being manipulated by Josie or what, but that's not something you do. And, like, she should know how it feels because she was catfished by someone else. So, to be honest, I thought that was my karma. Like, my karma to her. Because the fact that she did it to me, of all fucking things, and doesn't think that I'm gonna find out, like, come on, girl. Like, I'm not stupid. Like, I have my resources, I have my suspicions, like, but in high school, I never acted upon it. I was like this little angel. Like, literally in high school, I was a freaking angel until I got, like, my junior year. But other than that, like, you really think I'm not gonna find out? Like, come on, people. Like, if you're gonna lie, lie well. Like, that's my advice. Seriously, if you're going to lie, actually lie well. Well, this was my story time, and I hope you guys enjoy. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. And comment down below if you've had any same experiences, or if you want any other video ideas, story times, whatever you guys want to learn about me. Comment that down below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.